Hey everyone, this is Aaron Fink from Grapple City Rewind. If you like what you hear on this episode, make sure to subscribe with whatever podcast platform you use so you never miss an episode. All right, cue that music.
Hey, hello, and welcome to Grapple City Rewind, taking you all the way back to the iconic pay-per-views, television specials that shaped professional wrestling history. Today, we're going back to the 90s, to the Attitude Era, to potentially one of the better parts of WWE, WWF history, and maybe the best Royal Rumble of the 90s. I wouldn't say that's undisputed truth, but it's a good one. Royal Rumble 1998, January 18th of that year in San Jose with Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross, and we can just really have a good time with this one, I think, revisiting some of the highlights and some of the heroes of the Attitude Era, Rock, Austin, every single iteration of Foley. But before we get into all that fun, I'm Bradley Palermo here, as always, with Aaron Fink. And Aaron, should we touch on a little current? We got that belt off of Cody and onto Drew McIntyre this past week. That's wild.
Yeah, and not only that, but overseas too, right?
It happened in Berlin, was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I think, was Roman the one who took the belt from Drew, right?
Back in 2020, yeah, I think you're right.
During the non-fan, like the
COVID times.
The COVID era.
Yeah.
Did Roman get that belt and someone else's? Oh, then he got
eventually he got the what do they call it?
The WWE belt.
So back then it was the WWE Championship and the Universal Championship, and I think he won the WWE Championship off of Drew. I don't know who he beat for the Universal though. I wasn't watching.
Drew has, since he's been champion, I mean, I know he held it for a few minutes and there was a cash in a couple years ago, but since he's lost the championship belt that he really only defended without fans in COVID, he's been kind of the most major league jobber. He jobs for the big dogs. And he lost a lot. And when he first lost it, in 2020, he'd lose every fucking match he'd wrestled.
Yeah.
I always kind of wanted, I wanted another Drew run. I mean, he was a babyface back then, but I guess I'm excited. I kind of thought they would just let it go. I don't think they ever put it on him, but now you got Cody, something to be mad about. So that's good. That makes for good television.
No, I enjoyed it. I mean, the scuttlebutt, what everyone was talking about was, is this Drew's time or not? And some people were pretty sure that it was unclear, who's actually going to win the match, which is what you want most of the time. And a lot of times I feel like that's not the position that we're in as audience members. You kind of feel like a lot of the time what's going to happen. But here, I think there was some genuine discussion and people were unsure, thinking that maybe Drew could win. And I certainly hoped that this would happen. I prayed for this, as Drew likes to say. I like Cody a lot, but I am a little, I guess I have Cody fatigue. You can only be so nice and so buttoned up and hold my personal attention for so long. So, yeah, I thought this was the right move. It makes things a lot more interesting, primarily just because I'm I don't know what's going to happen now, which is, I think, my personal opinion of how I want to feel most of the time. I would rather not know what's going to happen. So, yeah, Drew's the WWE champion now, which is exciting. And it was a pretty heelish finish. Jacob Fatu had been out for a few months under the guise of an injury in the storyline. And I think most people, if you would have asked them in storyline who attacked him, they probably would have said Drew. So when he showed up at the end of the third stage of hell on Friday and attacked Drew as he was trying to get out of the cage, I thought that made a lot of sense. And then things didn't go the way we expected. You know, he gets in there, he's beating up Drew, and Cody kind of just puts his hand on his shoulder, on Jacob's shoulder, and is like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" And Jacob's like, "Ah!" You know, just starts going after Cody, and Drew squirms his way out of the cage and wins the belt. So it was you know, slightly, I wouldn't say confusing. It was a little surprising that like Jacob's reaction to Cody putting his hand on his shoulder was just to start attacking him instead of the person that he was actually angry at. But maybe, I don't know, maybe Jacob thinks it could have been either of those guys. Somebody called into Busted Open last week, and they made mention of something that I had totally forgotten about, which is, I think it was probably on the episode where Jacob was attacked. Nick Aldis went up to Cody 2 separate times and was like, "Hey, do you know anything about this? Did you have anything to do with this?" And Cody obviously said no both times, but the caller thought it was really interesting that Nick Aldis would have asked him at all, let alone twice on the same show.
Yeah.
So this caller actually thought, like, what do you think about Jacob Fatu interrupting and costing Cody the belt? And he was right. So I'm excited that it happened. I like I said, I do like Cody, but I'm generally more interested in baby faces when they have something to chase. And we've said this before. It usually ends up being the most entertaining to me when that's happening, not only in the present day, but also in the past, like with Dusty Rhodes always chasing the NWA championship. So yeah, I think it's cool. It opens up a lot of opportunities. We're clearly going to get Drew versus somebody at the Royal Rumble that's not Cody. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see. I guess, I don't know who Cody's going to feud with. Maybe he'll feud with Jacob for costing him the belt. I know that Randy Orton was interested in going after Cody, but he was only interested in going after the championship, so maybe that won't be a thing yet. I think there is a really cool story between Cody and Randy, though. We'll just have to wait and see what happens.
And now it's time for the rewind.
Okay, we're here to talk about the 1998 Royal Rumble. This happened on January 18th of 1998 from the San Jose Arena in San Jose, California. Attendance of 18,542 fans. We had JR, Jim Ross, and Jerry the King Lawler on commentary. Thank you, Rick. I don't know what you were wooing about, but...
The attendance, it'll be fixed in post.
As I've mentioned on the pod before, this is, I think, the only pay-per-view that my parents ever actually purchased for me and that I was able to watch live.
That's fun. That makes it more nostalgic.
Yeah, it definitely holds a special place in my heart. I think after, without giving too much away, I think I was probably viewing it through rose-colored glasses. It's not a perfect show. It is a fun show for sure. And I guess we'll just get right into it. I mean, the whole thing, the setup of this Royal Rumble is that Stone Cold Steve Austin is a marked man, and everybody wants to take him out. But Stone Cold is determined to win the Royal Rumble and get a shot at the WWF Championship. So, first match of the night is the Artist, formerly known as Goldust, with Luna Vachon as his valet, versus Vader.
Goldust is looking wild in this thing. He's got the green hair, and he's got the banana hammock on outside of his tights.
Wearing a thong on the outside of his bodysuit.
Like
I wrote down,
ever. Yeah.
LOL, what the hell is Goldust wearing?
It's like a string bikini. It's like a string thong. Like,
yeah,
just a string on the side, a string down his ass crack, and then a little pouch. It's
for his
so weird.
And what was really funny is as the match went on, the thong just like totally got positioned in the wrong way, so you can just see his bulge go through his tights. It's
Yeah,
kind of silly.
I mean, that was his shtick. Whatever it was, I'm not sure what the gimmick exactly, how to describe it, but it's fucking funny.
He's a
Um,
weirdo. And they showed a little bit of a. So I realize now. I mentioned a couple weeks ago how I kind of miss recap packages and stuff. I'm
mhm.
pretty sure every single match in this pay per view had a recap, or if it
Yeah,
wasn't like a complete cutaway with music and voiceover, it was JR and Jerry the King Lawler talking as we were seeing old footage. So we got to
yeah.
see a little bit of this that Goldust and Vader had been feuding, and we got to see all the ridiculous outfits that Goldust had put on in weeks past. There was a week on Raw where he was dressed up like Sable.
Oh,
Like,
and a baby one and one. He was dressed up like a adult baby. Oh my god, I remember the Sable one.
yeah, he was dressed up like a big baby. And when he was dressed up as Sable, he hit Vader with a coconut, which really
So
funny.
stupid. Was that like out of his chest or something? Like, is that
I
like
don't yeah, maybe, I don't know. Pretty funny. So they clearly have had a feud. For an opening match, I thought this was fine. I like Vader, but this is towards the end of Vader's run. He's pretty old. He's definitely still over with the crowd, but he's moving kind of slow. Definitely did not get a Vader backflip or anything crazy like that.
no? But I mean, anytime two big guys are working fast like that, I'm happy. It was a good match to me.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too, is you kind of forget that Dustin Rhodes is pretty tall, like 6'5" or something,
Yeah,
and
I mean, he's not 500 pounds or anything, but he's a big old dude. I mean, he's tall and strong.
yeah, yeah. So I liked it. I think it was a short match. It was like 8 minutes long. To me, the finish I think is the part that I remember the most. Vader has Goldust laid out on the mat. He's close to the corner, and Vader's about to do his Vader bomb from the second rope. And Luna scurries into the ring and jumps on top of Vader's shoulders, and Vader does the bomb with her on his shoulders.
It should have been a DQ as soon as she got on the shoulders, but I'm glad they didn't, so he could do the Vader bomb with Luna as extra weight. That was a pretty good finish.
Yeah, no, it was fun, and Luna. If you didn't watch the replay too many times, it looks like Luna just landed smack on her face. So it was great. Crowd popped huge. Vader gets the win.
Yeah, I saw them do the replay a couple times, and I'm like, all right, that's legitimately seems like a little bit of a pile up I wouldn't want to be a part of, you know?
Yeah, she went on a ride for sure.
Yeah. And then we get some, shenanigans surrounding Steve Austin and his having been a marked man. Why is he a marked man? Just because he's such a badass that they want to make sure they get rid of him first because he's assumed, presumed, winner of this Royal Rumble tonight? Or why are they so after Steve, the entire locker room?
Sort of. I mean, I looked it up. I guess in the weeks prior, he basically came out and was like, I'm going to win the Royal Rumble. And instead of, waiting for people to come after me, I'm just going to come after them. So he just started attacking anybody and everybody that he could in the weeks leading up to the Rumble. So they were just all pissed at him because he had, beat them up first, unwarranted.
I see. So he's getting himself into some trouble.
Yep.
He tells Michael Cole to park his car. Michael Cole is like a completely different person 20, 30 years ago with his little brown goatee. He just looks like a 90s dork who's doing like a forgettable sort of job. And it's funny that he's so,
And his voice is so high too. He's like, I don't know.
you never would have seen him as being like sort of the voice of this generation later, but he made his way in there. I guess good for him in his career. Then we get into the worst match of the night, which was a mini lucha match, which is I think 3-on-3 little people. They didn't want to use the offensive word, so they call them minis,
Yep.
which I'm okay with. I think that's more polite than midget. Wrestling is probably the only place in the world where you'll still see people using the midget word just with total confidence, like they're not saying a slur. So it's nice that at least the WWE and the Attitude Era was trying to get away from that, even though I just said it twice, but whatever.
Yeah, six man tag, Max Mini, Mosaic, and Nova on one team, and then Battalion, El Torito, and Tarantula, with Sonny as the special guest referee.
Yeah, so you're kind of like, anytime in wrestling you have a special guest referee, you always just wonder, that's the finish, right? The special guest referee is always the finish, because if they're not a regular referee, there's going to be some sort of underhandedness,
some
shenanigans, as we say. There wasn't a great finish on this. It was weird. It was like, yeah, sure, Lucha Little People, but all they were doing is like the takedown head scissors, arm drags. Yeah.
I will say though, their moves look super crisp, and because they're so small, they're like flinging each other around. Like it was.
But it was like the two moves, like the drag and the head scissors, like over and over and over. I was like, somebody showed this guy how to do two wrestling moves, and it's just like, get in there. You're small enough to be funny.
I mean, they definitely were talented guys.
Drop kicks. They had some good drop kicks.
They did have some drop kicks. They had a good spot where like everybody did something jumping out of the ring onto the floor. I remember as a kid, I enjoyed the match. And it's not that I didn't enjoy it now. It's just like, why did we need this match? Like, it entertained me, but we just didn't need it at all.
Shouldn't have been there. I get it, right? Like, Sunny's cute. It's fun to watch Sunny. She's a very pretty lady. Who cares? There's so many of them. We're watching wrestling, not Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. Like, it's just like they just want to be like, well, we need a place to put Sunny. Just
right.
Like, all right,
so that Jerry Lawler can.
It's like, okay, so you put her in there, and she's got some tight like ref shorts on, and Jerry Lawler makes a bunch of horny comments, and I'm like, you could just at this point just have her come out and say, be the ring announcer or something. Like, why I don't know. They really forced a spot for Sunny. I feel like she provides occasional assistance in this match. I think there's one little guy that she favored. She would kind of pick him up and throw him around towards Max Mini, I guess.
He was the smallest wrestler in the world at that time.
Jerry Lawler did say, even though she was in the ring, technically she has the best seat in the house. He's like, come over here, Sonny. Sit on my lap. It's the best seat in the house. I was like, you're fucking disgusting, dude.
I know. I don't really... And the thing about Sonny's involvement in the match was it felt super forced. Like, I was like, what is the point of this? It just... Yeah, it was a skippable match. I've never seen any of these guys again, but I was entertained. I'm not going to lie, even though it was simple.
We'll be back after a quick break.
And this episode has been brought to you by Weber for Law, your tag team partner when life body slams you out of nowhere. If you've been injured in an accident, motorcycle, car, dog bite, slip and fall, or even if you've been hit in the head with a flying steel chair, these are the guys to call. They've got knockout reviews on Google, a killer track record, and they always fight for the win. I can testify to that personally. Weber for Law took care of me, and they will take care of you too. Don't wait. Visit weberforlaw.com. That's WEBER, the number 4, law.com. Or call 818-502-9200. That's 818-502-9200. Weber for Law, your tag team partner when life body slams you out of nowhere. It was the 90s version of an AEW mid-card match with just smaller people.
Yeah, or like how they always just put Kai and Tai in the second match. Like, this is a WWF thing. Yeah.
Or it's like that kind of thing. Yeah. It's like, a little diversity here,
Yeah, instead of a bunch of Japanese wrestlers, let's do a bunch of mini wrestlers.
Yeah, it is what it is. For a 1 1/2 star rating from Meltzer, which was not as good as the match that opened with Goldust and Vader, which was a 2 3/4 star. we're going back to Meltzer ratings from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. If I can find the accurate ones, sometimes I'll tell them. If I can't next week again, then I'll just skip that part. But yeah, we got them for tonight. The next match was Nation of Down. We are the Nation of Domination. I like that song.
Yeah, me
the
too.
Nation of Domination. Ken Shamrock and The Rock doing a promo, right? Is that what's happening here?
There was a Nation of Domination little promo thing. Like The Rock's been feuding, or I'm sorry, Shamrock has been feuding with the entire Nation.
Right. The Rock's part of the Nation.
And he's facing The Rock for the Intercontinental Championship. The Rock is part of the Nation, yes. But it seems like he might be on the outs a little bit.
Right. And the Nation's searching for Steve Austin. Kim Shamrock is portrayed as the world's most dangerous man. He's a legit mixed martial arts dude, and one of the biggest ones. I watched Dark Side of the 90s on Kim Shamrock. Have you seen that?
No, it sounds interesting though.
It's it could be a dark side of wrestling or dark side of the ring. It's the same people, Vice, but Dark Side of the 90s. They just had it on. All of a sudden, they did an MMA episode. Kim Shamrock was one of the OGs, and he fucked everyone up. And like
he was crazy.
Couple people that couldn't beat him, like he would do like rematches, and they would go to no contest or whatever. But like he was like the most like lethal shooter. In like fighting, and and he was like, they took my shoes, they took my he's like, I trained in like, whatever, certain amounts of gear, and we show up to like the very first MMA match, UFC, and he's like, yeah, like you got like no tape for your hands, you got no shoes. He's like, that's my balance, it's like everything, but he still went in there, kicked some ass, and then he said that he went to WWE, and he had a real problem with losing to people who in 1,000 lifetimes could never possibly beat him.
That's always the problem with those guys, is like they can't let that competitiveness go, and I don't blame him.
And he says in the interview, and I don't blame him either, he's like, the name Kim Shamrock was built off of real shoot fighting, of always winning. And he's like, and I truly believed in my heart that there's no one that could beat me. And if they did, there was some reason I could come back and correct it. But he's like, I'm paraphrasing here, I'm not quoting him directly, but he was like, going over there, and then they tell you that like Typhoon's going to win tonight. And you're like,
Yeah. And that's, it's interesting because this match actually kind of fits that, the way that this match ended kind of fits that framework of him like losing, but not really losing, not just straight up losing. I thought this was a pretty solid match.
So the match is The Rock, Intercontinental Champion, versus Kim Shamrock for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yes. And again, we got a recap explaining how Shamrock's been feuding with everyone. He had a tag match with Mark Henry as his partner against two Nation members, and out of nowhere, Mark Henry betrayed him and revealed that he was the newest member of the Nation of Domination. So, the deck was definitely stacked against Shamrock. He's super over with the crowd. I really enjoyed this. I thought it had a good bit of back and forth. This is the period of time where they realized that Rock was better as a heel, and the crowd hates him. They're still chanting Rocky sucks.
Oh yeah, JR was giving the Rock's like family history. He's a third generation wrestler. His father, Rocky Johnson.
And then his grandfather is High Chief Peter Maivia.
And then Lawler is like, how do you know all this? I don't know anything about wrestling families, but I know Sonny and Sable's bra sizes. And I was like, oh, this guy is real one note. But yeah, this was I actually thought it was better than I remember Rock matches being. Like maybe because he was young and peak form, but little shitty heel. We can just kind of get to it. I think he had brass knucks, and he knocks Shamrock out, but then he puts it in Shamrock's pants, and Shamrock ends up surviving all that, winning, and then Rocky rats him out that he's got knucks in his shorts, and the ref reverses the decision. I thought it was kind of oddly like inappropriate the way that the Rock put his hand on the front of Shamrock's shorts and left something there. Like that's like, whoa, dude. Like, and he was like lifted him up quite a bit. Huh?
I'm sure he had something on underneath the tights, but
It was like
yes,
in between the underwear and the tights, I guess.
yeah, because so and yeah, the ref checks Shamrock's tights. He's like, "Hey, what do you got these knuckles for?" And
Yeah.
Shamrock's like, I didn't do it. So the ref reverses the decision, which is something you don't see very often. And Rock retains.
If you're gonna reverse the decision, you need to call the other refs from the back, and you need to watch the tape.
Yeah,
If we're reversing decisions, all right, we use all the tools at your disposal.
I agree.
But no, it's just like, I'm just gonna reverse it. I sometimes there's holes in the plot, but this is wrestling.
Yeah, always. There's always holes. Yeah, but Shamrock goes nuts. He attacks the referee gives him a belly to belly, puts him in the ankle lock, and they're all like, "Oh no, he's gonna get fined and this and that and blah blah blah." So, that was that one. We get another little segment. Another group of people are going after Austin. They keep saying he's a marked man. They must have said that Austin was a marked man like 15 times in this pay-per-view. That was Vince's catchphrase of the evening. Make sure you say marked man.
Yeah, they always gotta have like a thread, and I guess that's what this was, the marked man.
And there's nothing wrong with threads. I think it's just kind of funny that let's just use the same buzzwords over and over and over.
Yeah, that marked man's gonna end up in the medical facility. Weird Vinceisms, right?
Yeah. Okay. So fourth match of the evening was the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal, against the New Age Outlaws for the WWF Tag Team Championship. And, Legion of Doom definitely looking a little old, a little slow, but they're still over. They're still pretty great at what they do. Again, we got a recap where we saw that they had been feuding. I believe that the New Age Outlaws took the belts off of Legion of Doom, and they shaved one of Hawk's mohawks, so he just had the one on the side of his head, looking pretty silly.
Pretty funny humiliation angle. Yeah, this is a good story of the biggest tag team legends, possibly, maybe of all time, or at least of the 1980s, versus the current guys on top. So.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's a great kind of pairing. Like, all right, these guys are the big dogs, but LOD, man, you gotta. It really means something when you beat them. I know that this is probably like the last we'll see of them in wrestling, but it's towards the end. But I was excited, and I thought the match was all right.
Pretty close to the end. Yeah, the match was really good. I mean, the New Age Outlaw. You can tell that the New Age Outlaws aren't as popular as they will become. Based off of their entrance, because when Road Dogg says, "Oh, you didn't know," the whole crowd doesn't respond to him as they do in future years.
I forgot to mention earlier during that Little People match, because usually it's your place to say how quiet the crowd is. That was a quiet crowd.
They were pretty quiet.
There was nothing happening. Yeah. Okay, but this match, I think there was a little more action in the stands, but. You're right. The crowd didn't participate with the DX stuff that would happen later. The chance.
Yeah, they are still DX are still. I mean, they're popular, but they're still heels for sure. Yeah. It's not like the second incarnation without Shawn. But yeah, this match is fun. It's chaotic, and we got some promos too before the match. Like Hawk and Animal did their standard screaming into the microphone, coked out of their minds, talking about how they're going to beat him up. And Hawk did his famous, I don't even know if I can do it. Well, he always does that. And his, oh, what a rush. So, this was a fun one. It was short. The action it got a little crazy when I think someone distracted the ref. I think it was Billy Gunn distracted the ref, and Road Dogg was outside with Hawk, and he handcuffed him to the ring post. So Animal was on his own for a minute, and the commentary team was talking about a back injury that Animal had sustained in the weeks prior from the New Age Outlaws power bombing him through the commentary table.
I hate handcuff spots. It gives me so much anxiety because I'm like, where's the key? How are they going to get out of this? And then they usually get out some dumbass way, like they just break it.
And he did break it, but it didn't it didn't feel dumb to me. Because like he was pulling at it pretty hard for a couple of minutes, and then when he broke it, I was like, oh shit, he broke it.
I mean, it's not like that one cage match or whatever a couple years ago where Jacob Fatu was like cuffed to like Hell in the Cell or something, and they just off camera he just isn't in cuffs anymore. Like that was, or maybe it was Solo. I don't know, something.
I remember what you're talking about. Yeah, I think it was a War Games match. Once they had Hawk handcuffed outside, they just like Road Dogg just brought in a chair, attacked Animal with it, and then got DQ'd. So it definitely was like a weird, unceremonious kind of ending.
Oh, it's because they felt like Animal had it in the bag, and so they were like, "We're gonna get DQ'd so we can keep our belts."
Yeah. So
Right.
So
Okay.
Hawk breaks the handcuffs. Somehow he saves Animal, but the damage has already been done, as they like to say. And yeah, the Outlaws retain, and on we go to the Royal Rumble match. We get a video package showing us why Stone Cold is a marked man, finally, after an hour plus. The Rumble begins with Cactus Jack as number 1 and Chainsaw Charlie as number 2, also known as Terry Funk. And I wrote down a bunch of quotes from this one. I think they might all be JR quotes. They were pretty, he was on fucking point, this one. He said, Cactus Jack can be colder than a mother-in-law's kiss. I thought that was a great line.
Colder than a mother-in-law's kiss. I like that.
Yeah, and for the first few minutes, it's like a hardcore match between Mick Foley and Terry Funk, which is great. Funk literally brings in a chainsaw. Obviously, it does not have the chain on it, but he comes in, starts waving it around. Well,
yeah, it's still kind of scary. Especially if you're a kid, you're like, oh.
Yeah, well, so Foley threw a chair at him from outside the ring, and Funk hit it with the chainsaw, and there were actually sparks.
Yeah, you got sparks. I was like, wait, is there a chain on that motherfucker?
Yeah.
Can they put like a soft chain on there just to get like, I mean, I'm sure, maybe there's things that can be done for movies and stuff to get effects without the danger. But I wouldn't know. I think it was just the metal on metal.
Yeah, but it was crazy. And, and then Funk's like, here, just hit me in the head with a chair. And so Cactus Jack hits him in the chair. They start trading chair shots to the head until number 3 comes out. Honestly, I couldn't even hear who he was because he just comes in and immediately gets eliminated.
Tom Brady, man, that was my favorite wrestler growing up. No, I'm just kidding. I have no idea who this is.
Tom Brady, yeah.
Tom Brady. They just got rid of him and went straight on to
continuing to fight each other,
continuing the hardcore fight. And Jerry Lawler had a good little quip in there. And he said the Funk family gene pool could have used a little more chlorine.
That's a good one too. Yeah, they had some really good one-liners in this. Number 4 entrant was The Rock, and getting a lot of boos. And so this is a thing that I actually really like about this Royal Rumble is that except for the mini wrestlers, everyone who was in matches before the Rumble is in the Rumble. So there's actually like a little bit of something for them to fight about,
Yeah, they either just lost something or just won something. Or...
Yeah, so Rock comes in, they put a trash can over Rock's head, start punching it, start hitting him with chairs. Funk low blows Foley. This match just goes off the rails. It's great. Like this is how a Rumble should be, in my opinion. Just like craziness,
This is the best one I remember seeing for a while. Especially, I mean, we were only like 7 years past 91 that we watched last week, and it's just so many times better.
Lots of fun moments. Another funny thing, Headbanger Mosh was number 5, and Funk took a chair and threw it at him like full force as he's coming into the ring. He didn't hit him, but like the chair went flying. I was like, Jesus Christ, you could have hurt somebody with that.
Yeah, I got Phineas Godwin, some real slimy redneck energy on that guy.
Yeah, this was another a quote that I loved from JR. Very inappropriate, but he said, "Living proof of what happens when first cousins marry."
Yeah, that's fair. And then we have 8 Ball, which we've already talked about this douchebag, but he's
Yeah, the generic biker guy.
who's also has SS tattoos.
Oh yes.
He's one of a handful of wrestlers who somehow got into WWE as full-on neo-Nazis. Usually they didn't last very long, but somehow they got in there. And then Blackjack Bradshaw, I never really knew him as Blackjack.
Yeah, this was what I feel like I mentioned this and you were like, huh, what are you talking about? Wait, before we get I got another actually this was a Jerry Lawler quote. He said about Funk, he's been around since Colonel Sanders was a private.
Dude, does he write? He must sit down and like really write his jokes before he comes out.
I don't know.
You know who has a lot of jokes like Lawler? I guess it's the same school as
Bobby Heenan.
Cornette.
Oh yeah, Cornette. Yeah.
Cornette was never like doing a lot of commentary. I think maybe he did, from Ring of Honor and stuff. But like when you listen to his podcast, it's just kind of
he's got the zingers.
Just the weirdest Southern shit that you'd never really say, but just it's like, how do you remember these to pull them out in the right time? It's
an art for sure. Around this time, Cactus Jack finally gets outsmarted by Chainsaw Charlie and gets eliminated. Owen Hart comes out. He gets a fairly big reaction until he gets attacked by Jeff Jarrett on the way to the ring with Jim Cornette. And here's another quote that I really enjoyed from JR, which is, Cornette is a stain on the underwear of life.
This is Owen Hart before Owen Hart joins the Nation, right?
Yes, that happens pretty soon after this.
He'll eventually become the only white Nation member.
Which is amazing. And I remember being sad about not seeing Owen in this match as a kid. I was like, oh man, like, because Owen because he's Bret's brother. And if you've watched any of and back then I was watching old WrestleManias all the time on VHS. And I remember watching Bret versus Owen. So I was kind of bummed.
Some people even say that Owen is a better worker than Bret, which I mean, I'm not taking a stance on that one. They're both great. Yeah. But Bret obviously had the charisma of commanding, millions of fans and an entire generation.
It's hard to know for sure because I don't know that Owen was necessarily given all of the opportunities that Bret was. I think Owen was probably as good as Bret.
I think so.
The match continues. Steve Blackman.
Before we get to Steve Blackman, sorry. So there was a weird thing happening here at the moment where Jeff Jarrett and Jim Cornette were doing an NWA angle. One of the only times you would see NWA represented on WWE television. It was very short-lived. But the NWA, obviously the old territory, National Wrestling Alliance, they still exist now, but as like an independent company, they're an indie. But they were the ones that were essentially WCW and everybody else before WCW. And, Mid-South, Wrestling at the Chase, all that was like NWA. And
they were like the
governing body. At this point in the 90s, governing bodies and rule books, like the NWA had a lot of rules, right? Like no throwing over the top rope or no jumping off the top rope. Like I don't remember what they all were, but Jim Cornette and Jeff Jarrett were trying to do this whole like sort of stuffy old school, like we're bringing back like real sports based entertainment, and we're here in this attitude era that's the opposite of NWA. And that kind of made them heelish in their own right because they're trying to say stop having all this fun, let's bring it back to NWA. So that was my little tangent. I just want to spin off on that for a second, but we can go on to Blackman.
Yeah, we got nothing all that remarkable to say about Blackman, but we got Blackman. One of the next guys was Kurgan, who I don't really remember seeing a whole lot of, but I do.
Terrifying.
Yeah, like 7 feet tall. I feel like he was like Russian or Ukrainian or Slavic or something. He's just screaming in some kind of Slavic sounding language, and he was a scary dude for sure. D'Lo Brown came out, another Nation member, and within like 30 to 60 seconds of him hopping into the ring, he starts fighting with The Rock, and you're like, oh, the Nation members are fighting. We got Mark Marrow, marvelous Mark Marrow, who we've seen as Johnny B. Bad in WCW, but now he's got some like generic shitty boxer gimmick with Sable.
Yeah.
Ken
This
Shamrock.
Kurgan guy is still alive. He's 56 and he's an actor.
Oh, he's an actor. Okay.
But he only made it 2 years in WWF, and then he worked in CMLL for like a couple more years, and that was about it. I just wondering what happened to him because I mean he was scary, but okay,
probably wasn't that good of a worker. So yeah, we had Shamrock come out at number 13. Obviously, he wants to go after Rock after screwing him in the Intercontinental Championship match, but he also, rallies the troops and helps get everyone together to eliminate Kurgan so that he can't run rampant on the entire match.
Yeah, and Shamrock kind of dominates there for a while.
Yeah, and in juxtaposition to the 91 Rumble that we watched last week, this was the point where I wrote down, for the most part, I feel like the punching and all this stuff in the middle of all the cool stuff isn't all that bad. It was still kind of boring. Like there were definitely some lulls, but I felt like the little things that we were criticizing, like, Samba Simba's terrible punches, like you didn't see too many terrible punches in this Rumble.
I was watching the corners and the guys, like, where normally the rest holds will kind of be like lurking and the unsold kicks. And I didn't see that. It seemed like everyone was performing like they were on television, even when they know that they weren't the spot for the moment, which I did appreciate. Yeah. This is the best Rumble I remember watching in a long time. That includes modern day Rumbles, because modern day Rumbles are just something different, more about pomp and circumstance.
Next highlight is number 16 is Mankind. And I said, I love this shit. And because, this is the Royal Rumble that makes history in that for the first time ever, we had one wrestler playing 3 of their characters in the same Rumble, the only competitor to enter the Royal Rumble match 3 times under different personas.
Yeah, legendary,
and
man.
Mankind gets his revenge on Funk. He gets him out after he got Cactus Jack out. So, it continues on. I wrote down LMAO, Mark Marrow just strutting around like an asshole in his boxing outfit. I don't know if you remember. He would just like walk around like wave his fists around, like not do anything.
Yeah, like he's rehearsing he's such a dork.
Sadly, Mankind got eliminated pretty quickly after Funk, eliminating Funk by Goldust. And then
Jeff Jarrett does a strut real good, and then they just throw his ass out.
He did his Fargo strut. Owen came out to attack Jarrett. Now he's in the match. The Honky Tonk Man came out, number 19. That was
Honky Tonk for years. I want to say every Rumble. Yeah. He comes out some years, I would say as most recently as probably 2021. He comes out and does like a song, and they just dump his ass. But he's like, Honky Tonk Man is like an instrumental part of Royal Rumble comedy.
He is. And, at this point, he's the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. That's who Gunther beat when he was Intercontinental Champion. Yeah. And when Honky Tonk Man comes out, we see Triple H and Chyna start walking down to the ring. Triple H is on crutches and he walks on them fairly convincingly for a second, but then after like 5 steps, he's like, all right, I'm not really going to use these anymore. And they end up distracting Owen Hart and eliminating him by hitting him with the crutches.
He's not even in the Royal Rumble, right? Chyna and Triple H, they just come out and eliminate someone when they're not in the match.
Yeah, I guess they don't like Owen. It seems like all the bad guys don't like Owen. And Ahmed Johnson at number 20. I remember Ahmed Johnson. I wrote, what a physique this guy has. He looks like a brick shithouse. Number 20. This was kind of weird. Number 22 was Nobody. And I forgot to mention, so earlier in the match, like somewhere around number 7 or number 8 or whatever, Jerry Lawler's like, I've just heard that somebody got Steve Austin. He's not going to be making it to the match. And so when number 22 happens and nobody shows up,
you think it's Steve.
Lawler's like, oh, it's Austin. This is where Austin would have been. And it turns out after looking it up, number 22 was supposed to be Skull from the DOA. He was like a tag team partner of 8-Ball.
8-Ball, yeah, the Nazi guy.
And if you noticed earlier I can't remember if it was the Nation or the Bariquas. Somebody was like, "Oh, we know where Austin is," and they went into this room and they beat up this bald guy, and it was Skull. It wasn't Austin, so that's why he didn't make it to the
Oh,
match.
that's funny. I that went over my head or for whatever reason, but yeah, they just got some other bald fool. That's
Some other bald white guy. I think it was the Nation. They were like, "I found him. I found him."
that's fucking funny.
Yes.
I missed that. I saw them attacking someone, and it was like, that's not Steve Austin. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But also, like some of this stuff, I have to kind of pop in like one match at a time, so I'm not like following the full 3 hours in perfect continuity. But yes, cool. So Mark Henry, of course, always cool to see because he's so fucking big. Stone Cold finally enters and he starts cleaning house. Like he does he is someone that, according to this storyline, you don't want around if you were trying to not be eliminated from a Royal Rumble.
Yeah, and it was a fun moment too, because the glass breaks, his music hits, and everyone in the ring stops what they're doing and they all turn towards the entrance, like ready to beat him up. But then Austin comes in from behind, like through the crowd.
Oh yeah,
and then he tosses a couple people over. He's punching everybody. Crowd loves it.
Smart move. Yeah,
and
Dude Love comes back.
Yes. So number 28, Mrs. Foley's baby boy is pulling a triple header, is what JR said, because Mick Foley comes out as Dude Love, and he eliminates Bradshaw immediately. Like Bradshaw, who like is a like a legit tough guy, just stiffing everyone, and Dude Love gets him out pretty quickly. That was pretty great. Savio Vega was number 26, and he brings out the entirety of his stable, the Bariquas. They all go after Austin, and I think Austin like throws them all over one by one, even though they're not in the match.
Yeah. Salvio never does anything for me. I don't know why. It's just kind of like, this
I just
guy.
remember, when they had that the backlash in Puerto Rico a couple years ago, he came out to help Bad Bunny in his match against Damian Priest. That was pretty fun.
That's funny.
But the match continues. Dude Love, Farouk, Vader was number 3, or sorry, not number 3, number 30, and he obviously is big and stinky and angry.
Mm-hmm. They even talk about how he smells bad in the commentary now.
Yeah, they do.
There was a mention of it, and I was like, whoa, like, because we all know because of what the wrestlers have said in documentaries and stuff, but like he's a big stinky man.
Yeah, and then unfortunately for him, Goldust eliminated Vader in the match, so it was tied 1-1, and they both got the best of each other in this pay-per-view. And the field thins out. Austin throws over a few more people, and then we get the final 4, which is Austin, Dude Love, The Rock, and Farouk. So you think Rock and Farouk are going to team up because they're in the Nation together, and they do for a second or two. Farouk eliminates Dude Love, but then Farouk's trying to get Austin out, and Rock comes up behind and eliminates Farouk. So it's Austin and The Rock, final 2 for like a minute and a half. Nothing all that exciting. Stunner, see you later. All in all, Austin eliminated 7 people and is the winner of the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. We kind of knew it was Austin's night. The whole thing was about Austin, but it was good, and it's good to see Austin Rock. The kind of the peak of all that, peak Attitude Era. I mean, I think Attitude Era it only gets more ridiculous from here, like early 2000s and stuff. Like this is probably the most grounded version of the Attitude Era. I would say like maybe my favorite era of the Attitude Era.
Yeah, it's definitely the beginnings. Again, like the place in history where this sits is super fascinating because as we move on to the main event of the evening, it's Shawn Michaels versus the Undertaker for the WWF Championship in a casket match. And as I was thinking about it, I was like, oh, January of '98. This is like a few months after the Montreal Screwjob when Brett gets screwed out of the title and Shawn becomes the champion. So Shawn's the champ. There had been a bit of feuding going on between Shawn and Brett and Undertaker. This was also pretty soon after the very first Hell in a Cell match, which was between Michaels and the Undertaker, which led to the introduction of Kane. So this is a very thorough recap package. The music is so hilariously dramatic. like choral elements and like just like
I was like, wait, the Royal Rumble's over and we still have more wrestling to go tonight? Like, what is happening right now?
It was
cool.
definitely a little different than a lot of what we see nowadays. And even, I think, the 91 Rumble was the main event, right, of that pay-per-view?
Yeah, it was. At least Steve Austin gets a title shot out of this Rumble. The whole thing before where it's like, America wins a war and like that's it. I didn't. That was so hard to follow. This is like cool. Everyone came after him. He prevailed. Now he can be champion or at least have a shot. I like that there's stakes on this one.
And you know what's weird? This was Austin's second Rumble win. He won the previous year, but he didn't end up getting a title match. Did
he get like a 3-way match or something?
No, I don't remember exactly, and I don't want to take the time to look it up right now, but essentially this was last year, the previous year, I think Shawn and Brett were feuding for the belt, and for whatever reason, once Shawn had the chance, Shawn was feuding with somebody else actually around WrestleMania time, so they decided to go with Austin versus Bret Hart, and that WrestleMania was the submission match, the super famous one, WrestleMania 13. So it was like one of the few times when winning the Royal Rumble got you a championship match, but Austin didn't actually get the championship match. Anyway.
After winning 1997 Royal Rumble, Stone Cold Steve Austin earned a WWF championship at WrestleMania 13. Due to controversy, he wasn't eliminated, and Shawn Michaels vacating the title, he didn't get the direct title shot. Instead, he, Bret Hart, The Undertaker, and Vader entered a Final Four match for the vacant championship at the next pay-per-view, with the winner facing the new champ at WrestleMania. This is messy.
Yeah, very convoluted.
The win, Austin won the 30-man Royal Rumble.
But he cheated, I think.
Eliminated Bret Hart. The prize, championship match at 13. The twist, the win was controversial as ref missed his elimination.
That's right.
Earlier.
Yeah.
So he won as an eliminated person. So the actual outcome, Bret Hart won the Final Four match, and Bret Hart went on to face Austin at WrestleMania 13.
Not for the belt.
Not for the title. What the fuck? Okay, I wish I wouldn't have had to look it up now.
It's very convoluted.
Nothing is more clear. Yeah.
But anyway, let's get back to the main event of this Royal Rumble. I love the original DX intro. I know you hate the band with their like Rage Against the Machine, Zach De La Rocha kind of thing, but
I don't love that song.
I do love this intro. Not so, I mean, the song is fine, but I love the Titantron video, like all this, the quick cutting, the editing between all of the ridiculous shit that DX did, interspersed with Shawn actually walking out for this match. Like it just, brought me right back to my childhood. So Undertaker entrance is great as always. He's obviously super over. I did notice that there are a lot of laser pointers at this particular show. These are just so many
this was that era where if you get a laser pointer at in Chinatown for like 70 cents. And then you can harass people. And then remember, people were doing it to airplanes or having to land in random places. And somehow those things don't really, there must have been some sort of harsh penalties put on that to harass people with those things. You don't see that now at shows.
Well, what's funny is
you can put a dot on the guy.
I remember there was a time in probably the late 90s, early 2000s, where it would literally say on the ticket, no laser pointers, no recording devices. Yeah. So, this is exactly what you expect from these two guys. They've had some incredible matches in the future, our past, but the future of this time. And this is a very good match. This is the match where Shawn Michaels takes sort of a back body drop over the top rope and over the casket, but his lower back hits the corner of the casket and he ruptures a disc in his back. And it happens pretty early on in the match, and you can't really tell that he's hurt, and he's probably not feeling it too much because of the adrenaline, but this injury was a big deal, and he got surgery right after this.
Jesus. His demeanor was feeling increasingly heelish. I don't know who was the babyface in this. I guess he was
Taker.
No, Shawn Michaels?
No, Taker
supposed
was
to be
the baby face for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean,
yeah.
that Sean's definitely doing heel shit. I mean, he gets put in the casket for a minute and the lid's not entirely closed. So when Undertaker kind of opens it, Sean throws powder in his eyes, takes control of the match for a bit. Undertaker takes a crazy Irish whip into the steps. He goes knees first. It makes a ton of noise.
Yeah.
And Sean hits Taker with a pile driver on the steps, which also had like a really gnarly sound to it. Like it just kept getting super intense. Eventually Undertaker comes back. This is obviously like the longest match of the night. It's 20 minutes. Not including the Rumble, which was an hour, but
Didn't Kane come out and stick his nose in there and fuck everything else
yeah.
up?
So eventually Undertaker tombstones Shawn into the casket, and the Outlaws come out, the Bariquas come out, everyone's attacking Undertaker, but that sets up Kane coming to the ring to help his brother. And this is the earliest incarnation of Kane. We've only seen him for like a few months, so he's looking scary. He's booked to be a monster. He beats up everybody. They flee the ring. By this time, Hunter, Triple H, and Chyna have gotten Shawn out of the casket. So, you thought that the Taker was going to win. He was going to win the belt because Shawn was just like dead in the casket from the tombstone. But then all this interference happens and Kane shows up. And before you know it, Kane and Undertaker are standing in the ring and Kane attacks Taker. He choke slams him into the casket. Michaels closes the lid. The match is over. But it's not over really, because Paul Bearer comes down with some padlocks in his jacket. He locks Undertaker into the casket. Paul Bearer and Kane wheel the casket up to the entrance. Kane walks into the back and he grabs a pickaxe and a can of gasoline. And he starts axing the casket. He makes like a big hole and dumps a bunch of gasoline into it and on it, and then lights it on fire. And I remember as a kid, I was like, holy shit, like where is Undertaker getting burned alive right now? Like what's happening? I assume there must have been like a trap door or something and he got out somehow, because like,
how many times does the Undertaker like die and then there was like two Undertakers and then he comes back but he was already dead? They play with that a lot about the Undertaker, like can we make him more dead? Right.
Yeah. And
so that's good though. I know it's one supernatural shit has basically worked once and one time only in WWF, and
it's with the other Undertaker, yeah. But it's kind of a crazy. I mean, the whole thing is like on fire. It is a big fire, and in typical WWF fashion in the 90s, it just ends with the casket on fire. Because I'm thinking to myself now as an adult, like, wow, how do you end this? It's just on fire. Like,
you just leave. Yeah. Just get out of here. You don't need to see how we put this out. I mean, so Meltzer gave that one 3.5 stars. He gave the Royal Rumble itself full 4 stars. And the Legion of Doom match was a 2 1/4. So that's where we were at with how this was received with the Pro Wrestling Observer newsletter at the time. Overall thoughts, let's go ahead and give our ratings. Fast forward, play, rewind are 3 tiers of ratings on these pay-per-views. And fast forward means we didn't like it. Play means it was okay. And rewind means enjoyed it thoroughly. Before I say what I want to say, you say what you say, because this is your call. This was your pay-per-view.
Sure. I don't know. I'm torn. I mean, there's a part of me that loves this pay-per-view because of its place in my history as a wrestling fan, but it's not a perfect pay-per-view. That we've seen other pay-per-views in the same time period that are pretty much like straight bangers from start to finish. So I think what I'll do is I'll give this one a play. I will say it's worth watching. Is it like destination viewing, as we like to say? Maybe not, but it's fun. There really, with the exception of the 6-man tag match with the mini wrestlers, I think every match is pretty solid and it is worth watching. Is it like, oh my God, it's one of the best pay-per-views I've ever seen? Probably not, but it is a good one. So I'm going to say play. What about you?
Okay, yeah, my thoughts on it. First of all, I want to thank Frank from San Jose, called in a month or 2 ago and asked us to watch this particular Rumble. He was particularly fond of Terry Funk and Mick Foley trying to kill each other before the Rumble even started. I remember he mentioned. Frank, this was a good one. I enjoyed it. I understand why, it deserves at least a play rating. I'm probably going to go higher with it. I'm feeling, my week kind of sucked, and this was the high point. So maybe I just needed this at the time. But excellent Rumble match with real stakes. Attitude Era firing on all cylinders. A really dumb mini lucha match, totally forgettable. So I'm just going to forget that ever happened. Mike Tyson's presence the entire time we didn't really mention.
Oh yeah, we forgot that. Yeah,
but it added something weird. He's up there with Shane and Vince.
That becomes a big thing too in the subsequent months, and then in the WrestleMania after this, WrestleMania 14.
Yeah, and then you can kind of feel it here, the passing of the torch. It's not really the Brett HBK era anymore. It's the Austin Rock Foley era. And I'm learning a lot about these things, and I'm becoming more and more familiar with these characters. Even though I wasn't watching at that time, I've probably watched more of that time now than people who were watching at that time. My final verdict is going to go rewind on it. I dug it. It was cool.
Oh, yeah.
And we always love to hear from y'all out there, the Grapple Gang, whether you want to correct us or you want to praise us or you really just want to cut a promo on us, cut a promo on Aaron, cut a promo on me. We got a phone line you can call. It's just a voicemail, so we're not going to pick up. You're not going to have an awkward conversation. If you don't like how it comes out the first time, just cut us another voicemail on the second one, and we'll know what to do with it. 626-657-SLAM. That is 626-657-SLAM.
Pick up the phone.
Or you can always reach out to us across social media. We are on TikTok, Instagram, IG is Instagram. Email, all those things. GrappleCityPod@gmail.com. GrappleCityPod on social media. And we had our buddy M Mellow 84 hit us up on TikTok DM. He says, thanks for returning his follow. Love the pod. Keep up the amazing work. Do you have an early Royal Rumble prediction? And I told him Gunther, because it seems like might as well ride the wave, but Cody's not champion anymore. Is he going to be in there? Is Roman Reigns in there? It's hard for Roman not to win. If he's in there, is Brock going to be in there? But I'm just going to stick with it. Gunther wins the Royal Rumble. I know that's probably not right, but that's what I'm feeling.
Okay.
And with the women, oh, shit. I don't know, man. Rhea?
I don't know. Yeah, the women's much harder to form a guess. I think for the men's, I'm going to throw Braun Breaker in there. I think, after losing to Punk the other day, it would make sense because it definitely doesn't seem like they're pumping the brakes on Breaker.
So Breaker wins the Rumble, goes after Punk. Now maybe he's ready to beat Punk.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think. I mean, Cody not being champ anymore, I guess they could go with Cody being the first to ever win 3 Rumbles.
It's too many, but yeah, they could. It could happen.
It's not what I would want.
Gunther's almost won before, but Cody took him out. He was the second to last. He was the last man to go, I guess, before, right?
Yeah, so I don't remember which one it was. I think it was Cody's second win. I think he was the last one.
Part of me is like, this is kind of his time. Let's keep it going.
I suppose. I just feel like I'm trying to think about when is the last time that a heel wins the Rumble. Like that almost never happens. Yeah, that's probably why I don't think it's going to be Gunther. But then again, like Braun Breaker's not exactly a babyface either.
Is a heel win more like a Money in the Bank thing, right?
Yeah,
he's going to win kind of underhanded with that briefcase.
Yeah, that you're definitely onto something there. I don't know. I'm going to say Braun Breaker. I guess Brock could show up though and cause some shenanigans. You know, they keep featuring Brock in the
Whoa. In the promos?
yeah, in the WrestleMania promos, like in that round table with everybody. You know, he's the. It's like
The last time a heel won the Royal Rumble was 10 years ago. It was Triple H in 2016.
interesting.
So that's been a minute.
I suppose
Randy
it's
Orton
possible.
entered as a babyface, but turned heel after eliminating Bray Wyatt in 2017. Lesnar won in 2022, but he was kind of a tweener at that point.
Yeah.
He wasn't like clear heel.
He felt kind of Brock's just Brock, right? Like
Yeah, right.
Could be Brock, it could be Breaker. I don't know. I feel like Gunther doesn't need it. He doesn't need to be champion right now. I don't think he ever really needs to be champion again if he just keeps beating legends and making them retire.
Yeah, I don't know why I feel like, you know, when you decorate someone and you say how many 2-time Rumble champion, 3-time Intercontinental, 4-time heavyweight, like you got to put some Rumbles in there. And I feel like for a name that big that will probably be in the Hall of Fame someday, I think you want to put a couple Rumbles in there some point. I think now would be the time. I guess it's for me, it's just kind of like getting, you know, checking the boxes for that guy.
Yeah. You know, Rollins could come back at the Rumble, be a baby face and eliminate Braun. And then
that's true.
Go after Punk, but that's kind of weird too because Punk's
we're talking about 60 fucking people, you know, 30 and 30 on men, 30 on women. I mean, I'm not going to guess this right.
No, I'm not either. They haven't given us any clue yet. Usually, you have an idea of like at least a couple people who are in contention. I mean, it could be Sammy, it could be Randy, because they both want a championship and they've made it a point to mention that on TV repeatedly. So they probably don't even know who WWE creative probably doesn't even know who they want to win the Rumble yet. Jericho's coming back maybe at the Rumble. Could be Jericho. Who the fuck knows? The women's is almost harder to guess because, you know, Rhea and Io are doing their tag team thing. I don't know. I really have no idea. There's certainly nobody that's positioned to win. On the men's side, I'm pretty sure we're going to get Oba Femi on the main roster soon. That could be an interesting choice.
It could go a lot of ways, but I guess time will find out. This is Royal Rumble season, and Aaron and I always switch off on who picks the pay-per-view for next week. I think this next one's my calls. I think I want to step away from WWF, but stay in the same year, in the same month. So we're going to go to January 1998 for WCW NWO Sold Out 98 and see very clearly what was happening on the other side at that time. I know it might be hard to find because the WCW catalog doesn't have a home as of right now. But if I have to fucking order us like little cassette tapes, like combinations with the little TV and the VHS connect, I will. Or most likely I'll find an illegal stream of it and we can see sort of what was happening parallel
Sounds
to this.
good. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen this, and I'm pretty sure WCW was still beating WWF in the ratings, but this is around the point where it starts to turn, and I know that I've heard of this.
Sold Out 98. Yeah, it has Bret Hart versus Ric Flair, and that's pretty fucking cool, right?
That is very cool.
I'm sure it's not probably the best match ever. I don't know, because Bret Hart WCW just doesn't go well together, but you never know. I mean, this might have been a good one. It should be a good one with those names. You have Randy Savage versus Lex Luger, Queen Elizabeth's two husbands.
Kevin Nash against the Giant, Booker T against Rick Martel, Chris Jericho against Rey Mysterio. That's probably good.
Yeah, I guess there's a good lucha tag match in there too. I am just seeing random things that people are jabbing about online. So yeah, tune in next week. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thanks for tuning in on this episode. It's always my favorite part of the week where I get to sit and talk about old wrestling for an hour. So I hope you guys are finding it as enjoyable as Aaron and I. And do please leave us a little review, even if you're throwing down some stars on whatever platform you're using, because we're still trying to grow, still trying to get out there, and we are very grateful for your patronage.
Thanks, y'all. Catch you in the cheap seats. Adios.